Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, and welcome to today's webinar. We'd like to welcome you on behalf of Magic Software Enterprises. My name is Glenn Johnson. I'm a Senior Vice President here at Magic Software, and I'm joined today by Ted Brennan. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Ted's a Senior Solutions Engineer here at Magic Software Enterprises Americas, and he's going to be sharing in the presentation today and showing us a demonstration at the conclusion of our formal presentation here. What I would invite you to do is if you have any questions for either Ted or myself as we're going along, please just type them into the chat box and send them to the staff, and we will be happy to get to those questions at the conclusion of the formal presentation. So let's go ahead and begin on our topic of introduction to the SugarCRM Speedstart. I'm sure that you know that Magic Software offers the Magic XPI integration platform that allows you to get integrated between SugarCRM and other solutions in your environment. And there are many reasons for doing this. We're just going to dive right into today's topic. There are a number of external trends, for example, that drive integration, everything from mobile to cloud to customer experience, social media, Internet of Things, and so on. These external trends are also paralleled by internal changes within our business organizations, things like mergers and diversification, divestiture, growth, expansion, new product introductions in your company, and then of course the old classics, changing priorities, new directions. Businesses change, and therefore integration requirements change between applications, and those applications themselves are a part of the drive towards integration because of the simple diversity of systems, because we have not only SugarCRM in our organization, but also ERP systems, e-commerce platforms, PLM or product lifecycle management systems, warehouse management, transportation management systems, human resources systems, the governance, the regulation and compliance applications, cash management applications, various business analytics and business intelligence solutions, and on and on. There are just so many varieties of systems that have information that are really intersecting one another, where the information is shared across multiple applications, that you need to have a lot of rules about system of record and how to share information and synchronize information between all of these systems. And so Gartner, which is of course the leading analyst firm, is confirming that these trends are making integration urgent for many business organizations today. So what we often do is we sit down and we discuss with our customers, what are your integration requirements? Now in a webinar format, we're not able to do that, but we will be talking to you about how we can do that one-on-one with you, and we'd really appreciate having the opportunity to do that, because that's where we really begin to discover pathways to value. And with the SugarCRM Speedstart, there's some specific kinds of solutions that we can start to find value very quickly, but then with the broader capabilities of the Magic XPI integration platform, we can find some additional custom integrations that really will be much more simple with the platform, and that we can really talk about those as well. So some of these common CRM integrations, obviously, are to ERP. You know, we're talking a lot today about SAP and SugarCRM and how to integrate those together, where you have customers and opportunities that need to correlate to sales orders, customer order history, and product catalog information. Product lifecycle management systems also generate a lot of integration needs, where the item master and the bill of materials data are relevant to the CRM systems and products that salespeople are selling. Marketing automation systems like Marketo and others also deal with leads and opportunities and customers. So these are some of the common requirements, and there's a need with these requirements to really optimize the experience for customer relationships. And we do that by providing CRM users with real-time access to information from other applications and the actual processes from those applications, so that we can access the customer data, we can look at things like order and shipment details, check inventory, in general improve the customer experience with a true 360-degree view of the customers' data and information across the entire enterprise and truly automated business processes between these applications. So there are a number of integrations using Magic XPI that are accomplished using our pre-built application certified connectors to many leading ERP and CRM systems, as well as a large library for dealing with APIs in general, your generic non-application specific certified connectors. These API toolkits really accelerate your capabilities through the ability to control things like web services, HTTP, either REST or SOAP, database connectors, messaging queues, and just on and on through a number and variety of different protocols that are commonly used by the APIs that are available for your applications. So with the Magic XPI integration platform that we'll be showing you today, you have this plethora of application connectors, a plethora of API connectors for various specific technologies, and working with all of those in a very highly available environment using the in-memory data grid of Magic XPI. You have a robust environment for exchanging information, transforming information, as you'll see in today's demonstration. Now, what is exactly included in Magic XPI? What are we actually talking about? Well, there's a studio environment where you work through Visual Studio to design your integration flows. So you work with the application components and the technology components in a flow designer environment that allows you, as Ted will show you, to visually drag, drop, and configure your solutions. You have a nice checker for making sure that you've thought through the logic properly, and then all of that is served up on an in-memory cross-platform server that is able to communicate like Switzerland across all of these different environments. And then as that's running, you're able to monitor it. You're able to log what's taking place in the server. You're able to monitor what's taking place in the server so that you get that business activity monitoring, the dashboard view of what's going on in the background in your environment. So that Magic XPI Studio has a lot of powerful features, the code-free drag and drop approach to designing, the visual data mapper, the 100+ components, methods, and resources, and all of that will help you tremendously, and there's been a lot of really nice new improvements to this. This is a very fresh, modern solution. And so Ted will be showing you how you work with the components and you create this nice visual flow. And that flow also then can be drilled down into the data maps where you can work with your sources and destinations as well. The monitoring supports all of the capabilities of the server environment, so the ESB capabilities, the extract, transform, and load capabilities, the overall business process management orchestration capabilities, all of that is supported, and then you're monitoring that to either remotely or from within your data center to be able to see the performance monitoring. So whether you're in the cloud or you're in a data center, it doesn't matter. You're able to see all of that, monitor it. You get alerts and statistics, and you can invoke business processes, see how licenses are being utilized in the background. All of these kinds of capabilities are supported. So that looks very graphical when you're looking at the dashboard views of what's going on, and then of course when you look in the logs, it's a very specific kind of detailed view. Your license monitoring is also very nice and graphical, so a very nice environment there. The server itself, as we said, very robust, highly scalable, using in-memory computing capabilities for self-healing, active-active clustering right out of the box. And this in-memory data grid messaging layer gives you elastic scalability as well. So you have all of the built-in server capabilities for security, authentication, user rights, encryption. As we're increasingly seeing in the news today with denial of service attacks and Russian spying and all kinds of things that make the news, we know behind the scenes the enterprises are also facing extremely important security tasks and requirements, and all of those kinds of security features are incorporated obviously in the integration layer as well. So your capability for integrating to back-end ERP systems and product catalogs and inventory systems to be able to do the opportunity to order conversion, so that when your SugarCRM opportunity closes, it then automatically flows into an order in SAP, and all these kinds of capabilities are very important. Your ability to optimize, to be able to use marketing automation systems, to do real-time synchronization and control business rules and process-driven triggers and alerts, to incorporate and disseminate third-party data, are all things that are supported by the Magic XPI integration platform. And then to improve those customer experiences across a variety of different capabilities, PLM, order and shipment visibility, point of sale, and e-tail, e-commerce histories being available in Sugar can be very important to your sales team. Asset management, field service app integration, all of that is possible with the broad capabilities of the Magic XPI integration platform. One of the great customers that uses Magic XPI for SugarCRM integration is Sennheiser. Many of you will know Sennheiser, of course, through their great products. It's a company with about 682 million euro turnaround, with operations primarily in EMEA, but also throughout the rest of the world. And this company, as you know, with those complex operations, as I said, has used Magic XPI integration platform along with SugarCRM and their ERP system to kind of accomplish and achieve the business benefits that come through better integration. So you're avoiding the spaghetti code, you're really getting to a more standardized approach to integration, utilizing the variety of systems and capabilities of the integration platform to connect to the systems across the enterprise. So this is a really great story, which we'd be happy to share with you in more detail. And we have some nice videos that we can share with that. They don't show too well across the webinar technology, so I'll not try to show them to you today, but some real nice testimonials from the folks at Sennheiser as well. Now, just to remind you, Magic XPI integration platform sits alongside of the available option of the Magic XPA application server for creating mobile apps if you want to do that. So if you're looking at a full digital transformation in your enterprise with the need to create mobile apps that connect to your back-end systems like SAP and like Sugar, we've got a great solution for you as well in that regard. But today's focus, of course, is on the integration, on especially on the SugarCRM Speedstart capabilities, which we'll be showing you. Just before I hand it off to Ted, just a word about Magic Software. We've been in business for some 33 years. We're publicly traded on the NASDAQ Stock Exchange under the ticker symbol MGIC, and have had good, healthy revenues reported across the years. We have offices in some 24 offices in 50 countries that are served by those offices, some 3,500 global business partners, millions of users worldwide. We get good feedback from the analysts. Ovum most recently gave us a nice report talking about our capabilities for integration and mobility. So this is all good stuff. Now, we can sit down and have a detailed conversation with you about the kinds of business benefits that are possible from various types of integration and look at the projected benefits for your company. Actually, we have a very nice ROI calculator that can help you to visualize that so that you can go into your recommendation for an integration project with an understanding of the kinds of benefits that are possible for your organization. So what we would normally do then is sit down with you, as we said, one-on-one. But what we'll do now is we're going to show the demonstration, and then what we'd like to do is set an appointment with you for that individualized discussion about your preferred approach, your timing, the kinds of next steps that make sense for your organization. And we'll actually be asking you to interface with Angela Burton regarding that. Her number is shown here. It's 949-250-1718. She's actually at extension 259. And her email is aburton@magicsoftware.com. You can set a discussion time through Angela. That would be awesome. She may reach out to you as well following the webinar we'd really appreciate it if we could get that meeting set. But before we do that, of course, we want to actually give Ted a chance to explain SpeedStart a little bit to you, and then provide you with that demonstration. So I'm going to let Ted take it away from here.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Ted Brennan. I'm the sales engineer here, and I'm going to talk to you about XPI in general, as well as the SpeedStart package and how we can help you integrate your CRM with SAP. So Glenn, I don't believe you've passed me control of the screen yet. I don't think anybody, I'm still seeing your screen.
Yeah, as soon as you want to finish off these slides, and then these are your slides, and then I'll just advance them when you tell me to, and then when you see the tiger, it's time for the demo.
All right. So getting back to that, so I'm not going to read these verbatim because of course you all can read. But you know, the reason we regard ourselves as a integration platform that we conform to a business process and not necessarily a solution where we have a template and we go ahead and you know, tell you what your business has to be. But the genesis of the SpeedStart package was to allow you to integrate some very common data points between CRM and SAP, and some of those common ones were customers, contacts, and sales orders. And so the reason this came about really was because we had a lot of customers who approached us and essentially said, you know, we need to integrate SAP with Sugar, but we really don't know where to start, and you know, some of this, you know, we may not be that familiar with SAP as we'd like to be, and for those of us that have worked with SAP, you know, some of those things, you know, knowing which BAPI to use, whether I should use an IDOC versus an RFC, you know, how do I do that? So we built a basic integration that does some basic data syncing between certain data points within SAP. So as you can see, there's partner roles, customers, quotes, invoices, new customers going right from SAP to SugarCRM, and we have some integration with Google Calendar and Twitter as well. So when you have some new customers and you want to you know, add a new calendar for a meet or something like that, we can do that as well. And we can actually pass some new account information through your Twitter feed as well. So you can, if you win a new customer in SAP, you can do a Twitter saying, hey guys, we got a new customer, please welcome them aboard, and those kinds of things. So Glenn, go ahead and advance that. Okay, so the one before was, so we say it's SAP to ERP, and we have actually two, or CRM rather, and so we have two CRM solutions that we've built these SpeedStart packages for. One's for SAP and the other one's for Salesforce. They both have some minor differences, but they both sync the same information basically from SAP. Okay, now in order to implement both of these, there are some environment changes that need to be implemented. For instance, there are some custom module data points that are within SugarCRM that need to be implemented, as well as we've built some custom BAPIs, and if you worked with SAP, you know what those are for this integration. But the good news is that we provide all that. So all the custom index fields, all the modifications that need to be done to your environment, we provide those as part of the package. So go ahead and advance, Glenn, please. Okay, so there's a picture of some of the CRM modules just to kind of show you what they look like in SugarCRM. So that's actually from our connector. That's actually when you do the schema refresh and we're looking at the different data points. So for those of you familiar with Sugar, you should see those, and those are what the custom BAPIs. So it's the prefix Z, Magic XPI from the ZST RFC group. So those are some of the custom BAPIs, and that's what they look like when you use them in the connectors. All right, so time to show you how this looks like in real life.
Okay, you should be able to share your desktop, and I do see it, so thank you, Ted.
Outstanding. So for those of you who are not familiar with XPI or haven't seen it in a while, this is actually our new 4.5 version, and if you've ever done any kind of development before or worked with Visual Studio, this should be a comfortable environment for you. A lot of this should look very familiar. We have our connectors. What used to be our connector repository is now in our toolbox over here onto my left, and down to the right we actually have, in the Solution Explorer, we have the different flows. So these are all the different flows that we're that we're doing as part of this integration between SAP and Sugar. So flows in general, are where we pass data from one environment to another. So, and this is obviously put together for the SAP Speedstart package, and so we have a lot of pre-built flows here. The question that comes up a lot is, can we add on to these flows? Where you absolutely can. This is not locked down in any way. So not only can you add flows, but you can also you can add more index values. So in our sync between what we call debtor, and just to let you know, this was developed by our German team. So debtor is they did an exact translation into English, and some from the best way to understand customer was debtor. So unfortunately, it's just kind of accounting irregularities, I believe, in the German language in the translation. But when you see debtor, that's really customer going from SAP to Sugar, and so you can hear the flow, see the flows that goes to Sugar. But not only can you add additional mappings, so we got some basic common index fields going between these two values, these two data points, you can go ahead and add on that, and you can even add different flows. So if you want to add on different data points, you can call different flows like you would with any other Magic XPI project. And of course, these use instead of having code here like you would normally see in Visual Studio, you have our flows, very visual drag and drop, and they're made up of our connectors. So for this, we're using some pre-built connectors. We have pre-built connectors for Sugar, SAP, and for Salesforce, but if you want to integrate this or expand on this like you can with any other XPI project, we have some generic ones too that we can implement. So with the HTTP connector, we can actually build and consume our own web services, both SOAP and REST. New for 4.5, I have the WCF client connector that can support WCF client web services. I have a generic web services connector that I just simply point to a WSDL, and all the methods and properties that come with that web service will be available. I have a DataMapper connector, and I'm using it in some of these functionality that allows me to do queries against any database in its native language. So if you're going to query against a SQL database, I can talk in SQL. If you're going to query in Oracle database, I can talk in Oracle. If you have access to the SAP database repository, you can do a query against that. So, this Speedstart package, just like all the XPI projects, the idea behind them is that we can take any application and we can integrate with any other application in a code-free drag and drop utility. Okay, so just to kind of show you how this looks in real life, like all integrations, this is seamless to the end user. There's no special magic button, and there's nothing special you need to do on either application. If this, you just tell there's really user acceptance really isn't a thing in our world. So once you, once you've implemented this, what was once in one environment it would now be in another. So all these data syncs here, and just to let you know, we have a couple of choices when we do data integrations. We can do them in real time, or we can do batch uploads as well. In this particular integration, everything here is doing real time. So every time a new record we create a new account in SAP, it creates a new account in Sugar as well. And as you can see, there's some logic to check and see if it's already there as well. So you're not creating dual accounts or filling up the data, your data points with junk. So here's a new account I just created a second ago, or not too long ago. This is created today, and it was called. I gave it this logical name here, and I passed the data from SAP. And so here's the data that was created in SAP that I used to pass that along. So all the dependencies, or whatever dependencies you have in SAP. So if you've got some dependencies that are going to SAP, if something a dependencies is, hey, every record has to have an email, and of course this is all going to be different depending on your SAP integration or your SAP environment as opposed to your Sugar environment. So all the dependencies will be enforced. And here's I created this record earlier, and I passed that along. And some of these came along automatically. So, and it just so happens our SAP environment is hosted, so we share it with some other people. And as soon as I turn this on, if somebody's created records, it'll automatically start syncing them over. But we can actually modify this to so that for your environment, we can put some logic in there that says, do it every time everything goes over right away, or modify it, well, only new records from day forward. So we can modify that accordingly. And so, and in terms of how this works in production too, the error handling for this particular Speedstart package is very basic. So it checks for errors and then it stops the sync. But we can expand on this too for your particular environment. Maybe you want to know right away if there's an issue with a data sync. So we can either pass a message to the server, or we can send you an email, just whatever depends on your particular business process. So, and I want to make it clear that this Speedstart package, although it's built to sync various types of data and various specific data points, contacts, customers, and sales orders, and invoices, and things like that, we can of course modify it to suit your particular business needs. And we've done this for a number of customers. Some of them don't, they like what's coming out of the box, and so we don't modify that much. Others, they have some additional data points and some different flow orchestration requirements that we need to build into there. But we can definitely do this for you as well. So just to kind of show you how this works and show you how easy this is to set up and kind of get going. So all these connectors here, once you install the project and once you go and declare your resources at the top level, so obviously we have to, if we're going to work with Twitter, we need to have a quick Twitter account set up. You're going to work for email, you have to have a Google account set up. Here's my SAP environment, or wait a minute, no, this is my SAP environment. This is our headquarters, our company corporate SAP environment that just that came set here already. And here's my Sugar and CRM. So once you point that and add the appropriate data, the dependencies within the target and the source application, you can plug it in, turn it on, and it'll just go ahead and start syncing stuff. So here I have some logic to get some what we call the new customers from SAP, and I believe I have an HTTP trigger where the SAP ID is being passed directly from the it says SAP from SAP, and it's being passed here. And so when I go in here, it strips the header information, grabs the data, and it passes that on to SugarCRM. So once it's going to look and see if the check to see the account exists, and for obvious reasons, that protects your data. We don't want to, duplicate records in there. And if it is, it goes ahead and looks to see if it needs to be updated. And if it updates it, it updates it. If not, it creates it new. And so that takes us to where we do most of our work, is our DataMapper. So here I have the source from SAP and the destination for Sugar accounts. So some of the data, as you can see, I only have a few records. Well, actually, I have a number of records in here. And some of these have logical names for Sugar, but some of them not so much so. So, if you have a SAP, your SAP implementer should know these kinds of things. Some of these are obvious, name, city, things like that, but some of these are not quite as intuitive. So you have to, we can go in there and see what you need to do for that. But if you want to add some more connections, and say if this doesn't exactly fit your business process, you say, well, maybe I want to have this data sync too. We can go ahead and connect it and pass that over here. And I know those aren't like values, but I'm just going to do this for for testing purposes, and that'll go ahead and add that sync too. So in addition to the data that's being synced here, this will be synced as well. And if I need to perform some validations, well, I have a validation functions that I do things here too. So I have some VB.NET time functions that I can apply to this data, so I can validate it and make sure I'm getting what I need. So I can concatenate some strings. So if I got 2 strings from 2 different values I want to pass in one, I can go ahead and concatenate them. I can adjust the date time formats. I can split a string between, if I've got say an address, an address field, and I want to split the number from the street name, I can go ahead and do that. And I can go the other way, concatenate as well. So for XPI, we say this is a drag and drop code for utility, but we give you some very powerful tools that allow you to, somebody at the business analyst level, to essentially have the same utilities as a programmer. So literally, there's nothing that a programmer can do in here that a business analyst can't using these tools. So here, like I said, you really don't even need to be a programmer to use these things. You can go in here, and we have help files that show you how to use all these different functions, and they show you what parameters you need to pass. So that gives you a very powerful utility that can allows you to apply some coding to your data syncs as well. So again, for the SpeedStart package, it does some basic stuff, but it's scalable too, and you can even expand like you would any other XPI project. You can even go ahead and expand on top of what you have here, not just with additional data syncs between your ERP and SAP, but you could even pass this along. You create flows to go to other applications as well. So like all of our projects, we also have a very powerful utility that allows us to monitor what's going on with the application at the integration at any given time. And for that, we have our new monitoring utility that's web-based that shows us what we like to say, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So everything that's going on with this particular data sync, I can manage. So here, I have a visual dashboard that kind of shows you, what's being processed, what's arrived, what's pending. I can monitor my different flows. I can see the different messages that are being passed. I think I'm passing any messages here, especially in development. I spend a lot of time in the activity log, and I can break this down between the different flows I have in XPI. And in this particular example, I'm actually passing the metadata back and forth between the applications. So we can pass messages back and forth to this monitor, which, by the way, is the only user interface that comes with Magic. Users, like I said before, really don't they don't go behind the scenes, or there's no really user acceptance, or there's no user interface for Magic. But this is for like an administrator to go and see what's going on with an integration. So I have messages going back and forth. I can pass application-specific messages back and forth to this server. I can pass the metadata as well. So here, when I create a new record, I actually passed, in terms of an XML, the actual data that I used to create that last record. So here's all my metadata that came with it. And this is a very important, very powerful troubleshooting tool that allows you to see the various data going back and forth between your applications. And I also want to emphasize too, like all of our integrations, we're utilizing a technology called in-memory data grid in production. So we run it as a very small digital footprint. It's one server. It doesn't even have to be a super powerful one. And you can even run on SQL Express on the back end for the database. When we run in production, we utilize that fact to utilize in-memory data grid. So in-memory data grid is we OEM from a company called Gigaspaces, and what that allows us to do is temporarily expand an internal server's RAM for the purposes of passing significant amounts of data, back and forth between applications. So typically, when you're doing a traditional point-to-point integration, you're reading directly from one database and one server to a data point in another. Here we orchestrate that through the expanding the internal server's RAM. It really speeds up the process, and it also comes with built-in active-active clustering. So typically in production, we will deploy to 2 or more servers, and through the Gigaspaces, we'll set out a space on the server for the processing. And what will happen is whenever if there's a problem with one of the servers, the other server will go ahead and take up the slack, and it protects your integration. So as you can see, the SpeedStart package gives you a lot of built-in functionality, and it can allow you to quickly and quite easily get some basic integrations going between SAP and CRM. But also, if you need to scale it or you need to modify it, it's easy to do that as well. Okay, Glenn, I think we're ready for questions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Ted. Certainly appreciate that. Great demo, and very, very informative. So I'd like to open it up for questions at this time to our audience members. If you could please type in your questions to the chat box and send it to the staff. We'll be happy to take those questions as they come in. One question that I had, Ted, is can it log into different Twitter accounts, or is that fixed? How can that be handled?
Certainly, we just created as a absolutely. So what we can do is we can actually just add another resource here. So we can go into multiple and pass multiple just by adding another resource here. So if we got one Twitter, we can just go ahead and pass it along as another as well.
All right, great. Here's a question. How much control do you have over duplicate rules?
Well, as much control as you need. So here I'm looking for duplicates based on some specific criteria, but you can add criteria as well. So if typically we're looking for to see if I believe we're looking to see if the debtor ID, so if I go in here, And if I go into this record in SugarCRM, I'm checking to see if this debtor number has already been created, and if not, I'll just go ahead and passing that along. But if not, we can capture some data, like for instance, when we do this for other projects, typically we'll look for some unique information, like like maybe the first name and the last name along with the email and the phone number. So sometimes you may have the same, you may have a customer that have a similar name or the same name, but they may not have the same phone number. They may not have the exact email address, but we can go ahead and pass along, we can check for those values, and usually that's sufficient enough to let us know whether or not there's a duplicate record.
All right, thank you. How do you configure the server clustering? Is it self-adjusting if one server is busy?
Yes, absolutely. So that's part of the Gigaspaces installation. That's a topic we cover in training. In terms of having it set up, it's generally something our engineers here do. We can definitely, it's part of the training if you so desire to set it up yourself. It's self-documenting. It is relatively simple for somebody who's been through the training, but for somebody trying to do it on their own, it may be a bit of a challenge. So we can definitely help you with that.
Great. Well, I really appreciate that, Ted, and I don't see any other questions coming in. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I don't see any other questions. So thank you very much to those of you who have joined us today. Thank you, Ted, for a great demonstration. Once again, we invite you to have a conversation with Angela Burton, who will try to set an appointment for follow-up discussion to today's session. And we are definitely eager to help you in whatever way we can with this great solution. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again on another Magic Software webinar. Thanks, Ted.
Yes, thank you all. Glad to be here, Glenn.